2024 is going to be a big year, I think. If everything goes as it's kind of expected to go, and we get ETF approval in January, that will be great for the market. We'll see, we'll see. I think we'll see big price, big price action for Bitcoin, and I think that will eventually feed into ETH and altcoins. So, a spot ETF will definitely, I think, pump the market. 2024 is going to be big. Crypto is slowly but surely getting past some of these big hurdles. There is so much good news on the horizon.
The crypto bulls are out, and they are out in full force, not just the trader bulls, but also the prominent analysts repeatedly sharing very bullish sentiments. The crypto fear and greed index is now full on greed, and it has been for at least a month. Practically everyone agrees that we have weathered the nasty storms of crypto winter and are headed for some very pleasant months in 2024 and 2025. The reason for the buzz and excitement is twofold. One is the expectation of a spot Bitcoin ETF approval by early 2024. According to several credible sources, there's a very high chance that we will get a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund approval by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission on or before January 10, 2024, the final deadline for the SEC to approve ARK Invest's Bitcoin ETF application. The other part of the fold is the 2024 Bitcoin halving event, which is expected to occur around April 2024. The exchange-traded fund approval will bring in thousands of institutional investors, strengthening the demand for Bitcoin. The halving event will do the opposite for supply. This is why many prominent cryptocurrency investors like Coin Bureau's Guy Turner are expressing very bullish sentiments, not just for Bitcoin, but for the entire digital asset space. In a recent interview with AltCoin Daily, Turner discusses his bullish sentiments for crypto in 2024. According to the Coin Bureau founder and co-host, this will not only be a massive bull market for crypto, but it could be one of the last great crypto bull runs. As we bring you clips from the insightful discussion, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos. You can also join the conversation by dropping your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Another thing to look out for, I think, is in March when SBF is sentenced. Now, obviously, he's been found guilty. That chapter is kind of closing. But I do think that could be a big moment that, we get that sort of final closure on SBF. He's sent off to prison for however long. And I hope that that moment sort of changes people's outlook on crypto, because this has been such a huge story. When you step out of the crypto bubble, everyone else, they're only the only thing they're really aware of when it comes to crypto is FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. And I think hopefully putting that to bed, so to speak, will be a moment where people sort of focus, on more positive aspects of crypto. We should hopefully have an ETF by that point. And then, of course, the following month, April, is when the halving is scheduled to happen. And historically, this has been a narrative that mainstream media are kind of better able to understand with Bitcoin. The supply gets cut in half. So those supply and demand dynamics come into play. That is a fairly easy narrative to understand. It's a fairly easy narrative to report on. So I would hope, what with a potentially, most likely spot ETFs available for Bitcoin, Sam Bankman-Fried not troubling us for many decades to come, and the halving, I would think that should hopefully change the narrative around Bitcoin and crypto more widely. And I think that is when we can start really sort of dreaming of a proper bull market coming around. I think now is the time to buy Bitcoin. I really do. I bought some myself recently. I topped up my stack a few days ago. Obviously, I wish I'd done it sooner. Maybe when it was chopping around sort of 25K and no one was really interested or paying attention. But then suddenly this ETF narrative came along and caught a lot of people, myself included, by surprise. But yeah, look, we've got big institutional players lining up, and the reason that they're lining up is because their clients want it. BlackRock is filing for a spot Bitcoin ETF because its clients have asked them for it, and ditto all these other asset managers as well. there is huge pent-up demand for Bitcoin. And when these ETFs launch, they may not be, out of the gates, they may not be kind of what everyone's expecting. I'm not sure if we would kind of shoot to new all-time highs straight away. But yeah, over time, more and more people are going to want exposure to Bitcoin. There is a lot of money sitting there that will eventually get allocated to Bitcoin. And I think, we will look back and go, do you remember when Bitcoin was below 40K? Wow. So I think now is perhaps as good a time as any. In order to keep your sanity and not sort of be constantly refreshing the Bitcoin charts, I would just DCA. I would just allocate a certain amount that you can afford to lose, of course, but a certain amount that you can afford, either maybe every week or every month, and you just go in at that particular point regardless. And that is a strategy that's been proven to work pretty well. And so if you're not sure, you just allocate regardless of what the price is doing. You build your stack slowly and steadily. And that, I think, is a good idea, especially for people who don't want to kind of dive head first into crypto and completely immerse themselves in that world, because that is a fairly big commitment. If some people just want exposure to Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging, DCAing slowly is as good a way as any.
At this stage, there is no doubt that this crypto bull market will mark the beginning of mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. The institutions are coming, and this time there's absolutely no reason to doubt that. BlackRock has an almost perfect record of ETF approval from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Out of 576 applications, only one was denied, and even that was later approved by the commission. In addition, BlackRock has made it openly known that it wants to enter the digital asset space in full force, starting with a spot Bitcoin ETF. And what the world's largest asset manager wants, the world's largest asset manager gets without question. In addition, the regulator is expected to approve other spot Bitcoin ETFs to assure the public of its fairness, even if that's inexistent when it comes to the cryptocurrency industry. But it's clear that the days of evil machinations are over, and the cryptocurrency industry will thrive and survive despite everything piled against it. During the interview with AltCoin Daily, Turner also discussed his outlook for Ether for 2024. Just as he is for Bitcoin, Turner is very bullish on the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap. Here are more clips from the interview.
Not really. I've always been bullish on Ethereum. I think Ethereum is, it's a very different thing to Bitcoin. I think this is an important thing for people new to the space to understand. People talk about there being competition between Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's like they're very different things. Ethereum is this network upon which so much of this layer one upon which so much of crypto is built. Whereas Bitcoin at the moment is kind of more that store of value narrative, even though we're seeing, exciting things like ordinals come along and change the game a little bit. But yeah, Ethereum underpins so much of the crypto ecosystem. And even if you're not a fan of Ethereum, even if you prefer some of the other layer one blockchains out there, or you're more of an interoperability person, you like those layer zero projects like Cosmos, for example, even if you don't like Ethereum, you can't get away from the fact that a huge amount of the crypto ecosystem is built upon it. And yes, Ethereum still has a lot of work to do. Yes, gas fees are insanely high, really. It's much cheaper to do a lot of this stuff on other blockchains, sure. But the amount of development going on in the Ethereum ecosystem is just staggering. And so, although I think a spot ETF is going to be great news, it's obviously going to help with ETH's price in the long term. I think what's more important is how much is happening on Ethereum. Now, recently we've seen network activity on Ethereum take a bit of a dip, and ETH actually went inflationary again. It now seems to be picking up again, but there is all this competition from those other layer ones. But I've been bullish on Ethereum's future for as long as I can remember, and that hasn't changed. It's still got a lot of challenges to do. But I mean, look, last year with the merge, this huge transition from proof of work to proof of stake, the Ethereum team pulled that off. It worked, this massive, massive change to the network. So I'm confident that they're going to be able to handle all the other all the other changes, all the other developments, further evolution that needs to happen in Ethereum. So yeah, I think an ETH ETF is interesting, but it doesn't change my outlook much for Ethereum. I mean, ETH tends to lag Bitcoin by one cycle. But certainly, as you say, the tokenomics have changed so much, and now the more Ethereum gets used, the more ETH gets burned, and therefore the less there is available. So in terms of price, I mean, where are we now? We're sort of hovering around the $2,000 mark. I think we could go to top of the next cycle. I think we could go sort of, I would be targeting around 5K sort of minimum. But I think it could get as high as maybe, I'm not sure 10K necessarily. I think it could get as high as maybe 8K at the top of this cycle. One thing I think is worth bearing in mind, though, is that even though we've got all this network activity happening on Ethereum, we've also got all these layer twos building on Ethereum as well, which don't necessarily result in the burning of ETH. So that could be something to bear in mind. But again, it all feeds into just how massive Ethereum is. So yeah, I'm confident that there are bright days ahead for Ethereum, and yeah, whether we get to 10K, I'm not sure, but I think 5K would be fairly not too unrealistic.
Meanwhile, the excitement for the 2024 bull market continues to spread like wildfire. Tom Farley, the former New York Stock Exchange president, recently expressed bullish sentiments during an interview with CNBC. During the interview, Farley discussed his opinions on the implications of a spot Bitcoin ETF on the overall cryptocurrency market. According to him, the SEC approving a spot Bitcoin ETF will cause money to flood into the industry. Money will flood into the industry with a Bitcoin ETF because people believe in Bitcoin. Farley told CNBC, "It is a great invention, and the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF will be great for the industry," he added. When asked about the current state of the crypto market, Farley said he believes that the bull market already started and is going to get bigger in 2024. What are your thoughts on Farley's and Turner's outlook for the crypto market in 2024? Please drop your comments below, hit the like button, and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.